Sir, step out of your car right now. Hands where I can see.
Officer, I am Judge Marcus Hill. This is unnecessary aggression.
I don't care who you are. Move or I will use force.
You're abusing your authority. I demand you calm down.
Step aside now or I swear you'll regret it.
And why is it now costing that officer a staggering $15 million? This is a story about power, prejudice, and the price of a single fateful decision. Justice Elijah Thompson, a man who had dedicated his life to upholding the law, was visiting his childhood home. He'd come to dedicate a new library wing named after his late mother, a woman who had instilled in him a deep respect for knowledge and equality. Before we get started, where are you tuning in from? Drop your country or state in the comments. And hey, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the time, because what's about to happen next will leave you speechless, and you won't want to miss stories like this. Justice Thompson, tall and distinguished, with a salt and pepper beard and kind eyes, was taking a leisurely stroll through the town square. He enjoyed these quiet moments, a chance to reconnect with his roots and escape the pressures of Washington, D.C. He wore a simple polo shirt and khakis, blending in with the locals as much as a Supreme Court justice could. Meanwhile, Officer Kevin Blake was patrolling the same square. Fresh out of the academy, Kevin was eager to prove himself. He was young, ambitious, and perhaps a little too quick to assert his authority. He'd grown up in Macomb, and while he knew of Justice Thompson, he didn't immediately recognize him out of context. Kevin spotted Justice Thompson near the old town hall. The justice was pausing to admire a historical plaque. Something about the man's demeanor rubbed Kevin the wrong way. He seemed out of place. Kevin's initial impression was that of a potential troublemaker, someone who didn't belong. He approached Justice Thompson, his hand instinctively resting on his holster. "Sir, can I help you with something?" Justice Thompson turned, a polite smile on his face. "Just admiring the history. A beautiful town." But Kevin wasn't satisfied. He asked for identification. Justice Thompson, slightly surprised, politely declined. He explained that he was simply visiting and didn't feel the need to produce ID. He offered his name. But Kevin pressed the issue. His tone grew sharper, his posture more aggressive. He insisted on seeing identification, claiming there had been reports of suspicious activity in the area. This was a lie. The exchange grew heated. Justice Thompson, while maintaining his composure, firmly refused to be bullied. He reiterated his name and explained his connection to the town, mentioning the library dedication. Kevin, however, remained unconvinced, his suspicions fueled by a potent mix of inexperience and prejudice. Several onlookers began to gather, sensing the tension in the air. They recognized Justice Thompson and whispered amongst themselves, a murmur of disbelief rippling through the crowd.
Kevin, oblivious or perhaps indifferent to the growing audience, escalated the situation. He reached for his handcuffs, stating that Justice Thompson was resisting a lawful request. "Sir, I am ordering you to provide identification," Kevin said, his voice now loud enough for everyone to hear. "If you refuse, I will have to detain you." Justice Thompson stood his ground, his expression hardening. "You have no right to detain me," he stated calmly but firmly. "I have committed no crime." Kevin, fueled by a sense of self-righteousness and a desire to assert his authority, grabbed Justice Thompson's arm. The crowd gasped. This was no longer a simple misunderstanding, it was a full-blown confrontation. A scuffle ensued. Justice Thompson, despite his age, was not easily subdued. He struggled against Kevin's grip, trying to break free. In the chaos, Kevin lost his footing and both men stumbled to the ground. On the ground, the situation spiraled out of control. Kevin, now panicked and desperate to regain control, made a fateful decision. He used his taser on Justice Thompson. The sound of the taser crackling through the air silenced the crowd. Justice Thompson cried out in pain as the electricity coursed through his body. He went limp, his body convulsing on the pavement. Kevin, realizing the gravity of his actions, stood frozen for a moment. The color drained from his face as he stared down at the Supreme Court justice lying motionless on the ground. The crowd erupted in outrage. People rushed forward to help Justice Thompson, while others confronted Kevin, their voices filled with anger and disbelief. "What have you done?" one woman screamed. "Do you even know who that is?" Kevin, overwhelmed and terrified, could only stammer a weak apology. He knew he had crossed a line that could cost him everything. Paramedics arrived quickly and rushed Justice Thompson to the hospital. News of the incident spread like wildfire, igniting a national firestorm. The story dominated the news cycle for weeks. Pundits debated the role of race, power, and police brutality. Civil rights activists called for Kevin's immediate dismissal and prosecution. The mayor of Macomb issued a public apology to Justice Thompson and his family. An internal investigation was launched, and Kevin was immediately suspended without pay. The investigation revealed a pattern of questionable behavior, including several instances of excessive force and racial profiling. Justice Thompson, thankfully, recovered from the physical effects of the taser. However, the emotional scars ran deep. He spoke publicly about the incident, not with anger or bitterness, but with a plea for understanding and reform. He emphasized the need for better training, accountability, and a commitment to justice for all. He also announced his intention to file a lawsuit against Kevin Blake and the Macomb Police Department. The lawsuit was a landmark case, attracting national attention. Justice Thompson's legal team argued that Kevin Blake had acted with excessive force, violated his civil rights, and inflicted emotional distress. They presented evidence of Kevin's past misconduct and argued that the Macomb Police Department had failed to adequately train and supervise its officers.
The trial was tense and emotionally charged. Both sides presented compelling arguments, and the jury was faced with a difficult decision. After weeks of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. They found Kevin Blake liable for excessive force, violation of civil rights, and infliction of emotional distress. They awarded Justice Thompson $15 million in damages. The verdict sent shockwaves through the legal community. It was a clear message that police officers would be held accountable for their actions, and that no one, not even a Supreme Court justice, was above the law. Kevin Blake's life was shattered. He lost his job, his reputation, and his financial security. He was ostracized by his community and faced constant public scrutiny. He was forced to sell his house and move away to start a new life, burdened by debt and regret. The Macomb Police Department also faced significant consequences. They were forced to implement sweeping reforms, including enhanced training programs, stricter disciplinary procedures, and a greater emphasis on community policing. The town of Macomb was forever changed. The incident exposed deep-seated racial tensions and forced the community to confront its own prejudices. It served as a painful reminder of the importance of equality, justice, and respect for the rule of law. As for Justice Thompson, he continued to serve on the Supreme Court, a symbol of resilience and a champion for justice. He used his experience to advocate for police reform and to promote understanding and reconciliation. He never forgot the day a rookie cop attacked him, but he refused to let it define him. Instead, he used it as a catalyst for positive change. The $15 million was a steep price to pay, but perhaps it was a price worth paying to ensure that such an incident would never happen again. What do you think about the jury's decision? Was $15 million a fair amount or too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.